We're on the record this morning with Jim Rooney.
All right, the Trump administration is trying to end temporary protected status for immigrants as part of a wider effort to carry out mass deportations. The protection allows immigrants to work in the country legally. It's granted to people whose homelands are considered unsafe to return to, or for political, natural disasters, or for political reasons. There are concerns, though, in the healthcare sector about how this will impact staffing, hospitals, nursing homes, which are already experiencing staffing shortages. What are you hearing about that?
About a third of the employees in our medical community are foreign born, and that's everyone from not just people in the kitchens and the cleaning people. It's people in the operating room. Many foreign born. It's a big issue for us, and the immigration issue has been so critical to the success of Boston and Massachusetts for 400 years. And we're not at replacement birth rate, more people moving out than moving in. The only thing saving us from a workforce supply perspective is a steady flow of immigrants.
All right.
So now I want to talk about another reality. And there's a report earlier this summer that found empty office buildings and declining property values in Boston could mean a nearly $2 billion loss in tax revenue over the next few years, which obviously is sizable. So you have called on the city to exercise fiscal discipline. Do you think Mayor Wu has done that?
The budget she submitted this year was a better budget than the last, not just her first 2 years, but even going back to the Walsh administration, where the rate of spending growth was up in the 6, 7, 8%. The mayor's budget was about 4% this year. So better discipline. We've called for inflation rate spending to tighten the belt a little bit. One of the things that happens when you lose some of that commercial property taxes is then it falls on the residential property tax, and that's what happened last year.
So can the city do anything to fill up those to fill those back up again, or is this just post-COVID and it's gone?
Well, it's not gone, but I said at the end of COVID, as people ask me this question, it's going to be a 5 to 10 year shakeout period to find the new water level in terms of what will happen in those buildings, and we're just in the year 3 of that transition. So it'll take some time.
All right, last month, State Senator Dylan Fernandez from the Cape, he came on OTR and he said tourism is way down in his area. He added there's been a 30 to 40% reduction in border crossings from Canada, a place where the state often sees an influx from tourists. So what are you hearing? What have you seen?
Tourism is the 4th or 5th largest industry, about $26 billion worth of spending that takes place in tourism. It's big, and it's also important to the vitality of a region. Vitality means people, it means residents, it means visitors, and it means workers. And we need a strategy for all of them. We are seeing the kinds of declines that you're talking about, particularly from our Canadian neighbors throughout New England. I mean, Maine and New Hampshire are seeing the same thing. And that's unfortunate that's going on. You talk to the restaurants.
What the rhetoric we're hearing out of the White House?
About Canada, yeah. I was at a conference that of Chambers of Commerce, and the Canadian chambers didn't participate because of what's going on. So that's unfortunate. Hope we just get beyond it. I mean, they are family. Let's bring them back in and move on.
Do you think most Americans are aware that there is that Canadians are not willing now to come over here as much as they used to be?
I don't know if most are aware of it, but people in the industry certainly are. People in the restaurants of New England and the hotels of New England certainly are. They're taking a hit.
Jim, thank you. Thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks
Good
for
to
being
talk
here.
to
It's
you.
always great to see you. A redistricting battle sends Texas Democrats across the country, and that includes right here in Boston. We'll talk about that next.